Welcome to the Whisper of the Atma channel. Today, we'll be giving a brief summary of an awakening video titled The Birth of the World, The Birth of Us, Episode 1. Please note that not all details will be covered, as we've only selected the most interesting points. We apologize in advance if anything is missing. This is intended as a guide for your spiritual journey. If you're ready, let's dive in. The first scene opens with Pari, who starts by suggesting that we set aside old religions and beliefs in order to understand something new. Then, the question arises, why do we resonate with certain ideas? Why does life have to be full of suffering? Following this, the discussion turns to the idea of energy and how everyone is suited to different types. Pari advises that we should follow the kind of energy that aligns with us to avoid inner conflict. Pari also mentions the book The Celestial Agenda by Scott Lemuel, who references ancient realities from around 100,000 years ago. This book was a significant source of awakening and learning for Pari. Next, the topic of extraterrestrial beings and other dimensions is introduced. These beings have no religions. They only recognize Ocean One, or the Creator, or the Source. The conversation shifts to our world, which Pari claims is controlled by dark forces known as the Tyrants or Cabal. Many different species seek to conquer and colonize, enslaving humans. Among them, the reptilians, small greys, and other species. These beings have altered religious texts to contain half-truths and half-lies, using them to control humanity. Pari shares a personal experience, stating that the gods of different nations are in fact the same being. He goes on to explain that dinosaurs, which existed on Earth between 50 and 55 million years ago, were among the first species and were enormous, to the point of eating themselves. The beings responsible for these experiments decided to wipe them out through a cataclysm, as their size made them unsustainable. Pari also mentions human footprints from 30 million years ago, suggesting that humans were also part of these beings' experiments. Pari continues, explaining that this world is a simulation projected from a universe known as the upper world, where scientists conduct experiments on plants, animals, and other species. Once successful, these experiments are brought to Earth. Every 100,000 years, a cataclysmic event resets the world, and if the experiments fail, the world is wiped clean again. Humans are part of the 95th iteration of these experiments. In other dimensions, beings refer to the soul as Atma, which floats slightly behind the head. The discussion also touches on the reality of intergalactic warfare, high-tech weaponry, and devastating destruction. Our world, Pari notes, is not yet part of the Galactic Alliance, a term from Star Wars, because Earth has not joined this alliance. It has been taken over by the Tyrants, marking the beginning of humanity's enslavement. Pari also talks about how reptilians used to be vegetarians, but were manipulated by the Wyvern race, leading them to consume human flesh, similar to vampire myths. The conversation then shifts to the existence of millions of extraterrestrial species. Some planets remain uninhabited, while others house millions of beings, each with unique characteristics and races. The story begins with the Creator and moves to the next dimension, where the Syrian mentors, scientists, and specialists in various fields created everything in the upper world. They passed on their knowledge to other species. Humans, experimented on by the Ceres race, who gained their knowledge from the Syrian mentors, were brought to Earth and enslaved by the reptilians. The reptilians are distant relatives of the Wyvern race, which developed advanced technology for both good and evil purposes, and later controlled the reptilians. This technology could destroy the world and has been handed to both good and evil factions. The reptilians used this technology to control the Atma energy of every being. About 500,000 years ago, a neighboring galaxy known as Andromeda protected Earth by driving out the Wyverns, leaving only the reptilians, who were already under Wyvern control. Because managing life in different dimensions was so difficult, they eventually left Earth